What is going on, everybody? Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see me. I'm super excited. I don't have my glasses on. My contacts came in. So I thought I would give these a swirl, and it seems like they're doing really well. I'm not drying out my eyes. So that's a good thing. I'm also super excited because this is, one of our first shades of, well, actually, I guess it's the second shades of purple, but you know what I mean. This is like our first shades of purple where we're doing an interview, like a new person. We haven't done it in a while. This is super exciting, digging into some gaming story here. Um, Oh my gosh, Sourblow, you can't be asking these questions. As you can see, our guest is in chat there. So we're really looking forward to jumping into his gaming story. Um, and then, just for me, give everybody what I've been up to. As y'all know, I'm a big fan of the library. I keep talking about this, and I'm super excited to tell you all I checked out Atlas Fallen, and if you're a fan of like Darksiders, I think, or any hack and slash, you'll probably be a fan of this. Obviously, it's not the most advanced gameplay type of stuff, but it's kind of cool. I'm into it. And so yeah, and I checked it out for free. So take that, paid subscription services. But with that said, this show's not these are not really about me. It's about the person in the title there, about the community, about bringing someone else's gaming journey, and just building a deeper connection just with the community. It's what this channel is all about. And so without further ado, I want to bring on none other than someone who's been a huge champion of mine and just always been a bright light for me, and just someone who's always had my back at all times. None other than Sourblow. What's going on?
Hey, thank you for that introduction. I feel, oh man,
No. I
wow, that was
mean,
amazing.
Sourdough, so, if you had to say who you were in just a few sentences, how would you describe yourself?
Well, well, I am a dad. Um, and a husband. I love video games. I love all sorts of things. So you can say I'm kind of a little bit weird. I like a bunch of different kind of music, a lot of different movie series. I like all type of genres. I don't usually stick to like one specifically, even though everyone has favorites. But I like trying different stuff. So not much.
Yo, pretty eclectic, so pretty varied in interests. Dad, so shout out to all the parents out there, especially to all the dads. I know we have uh we have many parents out in chat. So definitely shout out to that. Um and shout out to just being an amazing, content creator, and like I said, just an amazing friend online. You kind of always have my back, and so I definitely appreciate that. I also, sour blow. What is sour blow? Like I thought when I first saw this, I was like, is this like a sour candy? But then you have blow in it, and I'm like, is this like a bad drug? Like, what is going on here?
Okay, well the name is not really like some elaborate like backstory. It's just when I used to play a lot of MMOs back then, and the name that I usually picked it had to do more with I used to DJ in a while, and it was something
Oh,
with
you were a DJ?
reflex. Yeah, for a little bit, but it
Like,
was
like,
more like the production, more on the production side, kind of like. But I also used to mix a little bit, and
oh, look at that! Look, you're like, back in the day.
but it had to do like with reflex. So I remember me and some friends we wanted to play Guild Wars 2, and the name was taken, and I kept trying reflex this, reflex that, and it was all taken. And then I started like trying like different name. I'm a big fan of Deathstroke and also Deathstroke and Deadshot. So I was trying like different combinations. Like I tried, uh, I think it was like Death Blow. I tried a bunch, and eventually I just ended up with Sour Blow. At the moment, it sounded cool, Then after a while, I was like, why did I even choose
Why did
this
you pick
name?
sour blow?
But I just stuck with it since then.
No, it's super awesome. In the chat, we got a lot of your co-hosts are on chat. Shout out to Xbox International and all of the affiliates with Xbox coming out to support. See y'all there. We got they want to know, was it DJ Sour or DJ Blow? Sounds like you were like DJ Blow more than DJ Sour. You did
No, it was actually reflex. So it had nothing to do with Sourblow.
did you spell reflex like how it's spelled, or did you actually have a cool spelling with reflex?
No, it was REFLEXX. With
Oh,
two X.
reflexes. Oh, look
Yes.
at that. So when was it? Like, what? I'm just curious because, it was like, what time frame was this like DJ venture that you were doing? Like,
I would. Well, this was right before college, so I would say um last year, like the last 2 years of high school. I would say, and then a little bit into
so early
like college.
2000s, 90s, mid 2000, like
I'm
2010.
bad. I'm bad with dates. Like, you ask me right now, like how old I am. I'm in my early 30s.
Okay,
I will.
okay, okay.
I'll have
So
to
we'll say like
do
2010s,
because I don't.
2010.
I don't keep track of none of that. But like, it
I
was.
didn't
It
know if we
was.
were
It was back in the day.
DJ Alice, DJ Sammy. I don't know. You're like that. You're like
Well,
that. You're
this
like,
was.
oh, I don't know those people.
Well, this was
The real
actually
McCoy.
in the
No.
Dominican Republic. I was in the
Oh,
Dominican Republic
DR.
at that time. Yes.
DR. So we're gonna talk about. We have your fellow DR, Crazy Louie, and then
Oh yes.
the person who also videotapes from his
DJ
laundry room.
Skittles.
DJ Skill, I know. Early, what's that in purple math? Early
Oh.
30s? That was it's about 20 years ago for me, early 30s. Y'all know. Y'all know it's all about the water here in New York. But so y'all, that's it. Sour blow once again. So it's funny because some people have like these deep meanings, like
Yeah.
it's something that like some of the shows like I've broken down crying. Some of the people they have like, oh, it's like a part of my name, like the ones comes like King Thrash, right? Like Thrash is part of his name. And then you have the people who are like, I just made a name and now
It just
it's
came
like
out.
I just came and you're
Like,
in the third
yeah.
category. So I like that one.
Yeah,
You
like
know.
my brother, for example, he
Hey,
does music. He's actually he's like he sings reggaeton and stuff like that. And his name has actually more like a combination of his name and his date of birth with like
oh,
Roman numerals. Like he's
it's
more
deep.
elaborate with
It's
his
like
name.
deep. It's like unique to
Yeah.
him. It's
Yeah.
It's cool. No, that's super cool. So like I said, everybody has their story. And so we kind of know who Sour is, right? We kind of know that, dad, really eclectic gamer. Um, obviously co-host of Xbox International. We're going to talk about that. Um, but and we kind of got a little bit of you, but we really want to dig deep, right? We really want to, you know, figure out who is Sour, right? And so everybody has a first gaming memory, right? For you, when was your first video gaming memory?
Well, my first memory was going to a cousin house and he had a Nintendo and he had Mario and he also had the what's the name the dog with the gun. um
Dog with the gun
you
or
shoot in the screen and
Duck Hunt?
the
Duck
duck
Hunt.
hunt. Yes,
Duck-
exactly. I was, yeah, at the moment I saw that, I wanted one. Unfortunately, my parents couldn't get me one at that time, so I didn't end up getting one. But I did manage to get later on NES. So
So you got so you got a SNES, a Super
a
Nintendo.
SNES, yes.
Got Super Nintendo. So that's super cool. And it's been explained to me on the show like at least twice. And I think Crow Resin and Rouser have tried to explain this to me numerous times. I still don't quite understand how Duck Hunt works. Like with the gun pointing to the screen and the bird dies. Like it blows my mind People tell me
I know,
that
right? At that time, like,
no, what are you talking about that time? If that thing came out right now, if that think about it, if that came out right now, like there's an entire generation of people who would be like, "What?" I'm almost positive of it. Like if they were to
yeah,
bring back that out and just be like,
I don't. They should bring it up. Yeah, that would be a
you know
game,
what I mean?
great
Like
game to bring back.
there are all these first person shooters. I don't understand this. Like, like why won't Xbox do that? Why won't Xbox do that? Why won't they bring this back? I blame Xbox. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. It's
Oh
just
man.
point and shoot. No eternal shad eye. It's not just point and shoot. How does the gun know where you're aiming? It's crazy. It's not that. It's I don't believe it. It's like one of those things that I believe is like future technology. And we had this like 30 years ago, like 40 years ago. It's big
I
brain,
think
big
it,
brain.
I think it has to do with the aliens, definitely.
It definitely has something. It could have something to do with aliens. I'm glad you're recognizing that. So Duck Hunt, which is NES, man, I'm just thinking of all the possibilities. But so we're thinking about Nintendo, but Super Nintendo, right? So your Super Nintendo is your first gaming memory. But what game on Super Nintendo?
Well, the first game I had, and for some reason, the Super Nintendo I had like issue, or I don't know, maybe I think it was that cartridge, it specifically. So it was Final Fantasy. I think it's called the Mystic Quest.
Okay.
Okay, so if I turned off the Super Nintendo and I turned it back on, everything was gone. Everything was wiped off. So I had to restart all over again. So that game, I had a lot of memories with that game because I wanted to beat that game, but then sometimes my parents will come in and just disconnect it or turn it off, and I will have to restart the game again. So, I fell in love with that type of game. Um, then
That seems like I fell in love with having to restart my progress
yeah,
every
that was a
hour, and
torture.
so and to this day, I gravitate towards games and systems that erase my data. I mean that's one way to look at it, I guess. Like,
Well, not that you erase the data, like specifically, like more like like kind of like role playing games, I would say. If you can see like a lot of my background, there's a lot
oh,
of
we're gonna
like
get to that. So
role
like
playing.
Baldur's Gate, when Baldur's Gate 3 had like the bug that erased your data that gets you your RPG
No,
element as well
that's
as your
not
data
what.
erasing
That
is
doesn't
very
hype
good.
me. That your data get
You
erased.
know,
The
that works,
link,
right? That was on the
the
Series
game,
S. It works. No, no, not I'm
not that,
joking.
not that.
I'm
No,
stop. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop, guys. I'm gonna stop.
we, we don't want that. But yeah, but the game that I would say that was the highlight for me for the Super Nintendo was Chrono Trigger. I
Okay.
really love that game. Yes, I think it's one of the best game, if not the best game ever.
Whoa, 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 whoa. So you're saying the best
I said
game
one of
ever?
the best, if not the best game ever.
Okay, so say that again. I see you there, PlayStation gamer. Had to come. I see you. Uh, so you're saying, all right. So you've said something that is somewhat problematic. I'm joking, joking. Everybody has their best games. Everybody has their best games ever. So, um, but we'll come back to this. Like which one is so you're playing Super Nintendo, right? At this point, would you say you're just like any other kid? You're fortunate to have like a console playing video games, or are you at this point like, yo, I really, really like video games?
Yeah, no, yeah, I was really hooked into video games. Unfortunately, I would say at that time, I didn't get a lot of like video games, so a lot of time I would have to like replay the same ones that I had because at that moment, um, my parents didn't make that much money, and I didn't work, of course. So yeah, but yeah, I did enjoy the little time I had with you know playing my Super Nintendo.
You had it, and in chat, Rouster has told us supposedly, how the gun works. It sends a light signal,
Well,
lights,
there you go.
magnets, and lights. You're not gonna fool
That's
us, Rouster. Fake news, not true. Aliens market. All right, so you eventually go from Super Nintendo to what? Like, are you someone who's like a Super Nintendo Sega type? Are you Super Nintendo to PlayStation? Are you Super
so
Nintendo N64? Like, Jaguar,
so
where are we going?
from Super Nintendo, I then went to Nintendo 64.
Whoa, so
So
you're Nintendo. You're like a Nintendo diehard. Like, Nintendo's runs through your
not,
blood.
not I don't think it's a diehard, but it's more like my parents were Latino. They're both Dominican. And at that time, Nintendo was so popular that everything for them was Nintendo. So if they would go to buy any console, they would say, "I want a Nintendo." So it was everything was Nintendo. Everything was called Nintendo. So basically, I would end up with a Nintendo. But
Love good parents though. At least they know. At least they got
yeah.
something. You know.
But I gotta say, the Nintendo was probably the video console that I had the most fun because there was a lot of games that you know they were kind of like more like orientated to like couch co-op,
Yeah.
and I had a few buddies that were they lived around. They also had an N64. I used to visit their house, play at their house. They used to come to my house. They'll bring their cartridges. I'll bring their. And sometimes, like for example, there was two video games we wanted. I would tell them buy this one, and I'll buy the other one, and we would kind of like swap tapes and all that, and we would play all type of games. So to me, that was like the most fun because you were able to kind of like interact with the person in you know person to person and just have fun and enjoy.
No. Totally agree. I think we all have like memories of that, swipping. I mean, we have so many gamers are so much about the physical because that memory of just
Yeah,
borrowing, switching, even
and switching.
selling, and just like that's a whole thing about the physical.
Yeah, I
Uh,
also love from that console. I gotta highlight there were so many games that you could play like cooperate, like so many games, like and some of the games there weren't even like right now you don't a lot of people don't think about, but like even like let's get ready to rumble for example. That's not a game that's mentioned a lot, but I had a lot of great memories with that.
no, and that's 64, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember. And so what would you say was your favorite N64 game? Because I
Oh,
feel like 64 is like an interesting console. Like, it's
hands
kind of
down, it's Perfect Dark.
the hell?
Perfect Dark. Oh, that game was way ahead of its
You
time. There
don't have to.
was
Doc Dark is not
so
in
much
the
thing.
in the chat. You don't have to say Perfect Dark.
No,
Like,
no, I don't care about what he thinks.
joking.
Hey, no, Dark Dark, shout out to them. But no,
Conquer's
that
not free.
game to me, like me and my brother, we kind of like dissected that game and we try to figure like every little secret. That game has so much hidden stuff that a lot of people don't know. I think the problem with that game that a lot of people probably didn't uh had the chance to kind of get into it is I think the menu it had and the layout was not the greatest to get into. So there was a lot of hidden stuff that people didn't know, a lot of modes, a lot of different stuff that you can actually do with the game that a lot of people didn't know. But that game was way to me, it was way ahead of its time. Like each weapon had its own like different mode. Like each weapon had different stuff that it can do. It had a lot of gadgets. It had story mode. It had co-op story mode. It had the challenges. Oof, so many things it had.
Look at
Uh,
that. I mean,
yeah.
did you I agree with you, Sourblow. And I see you, Severin. You're always Conquer's bad for a day. We will one day get
Oh,
someone who says
Conquer's another one that I loved. I really like that, and another reason why I also like that game is because it also had story, but it also had like the co-op. And if you think about it, it's probably one of the first battle royales. It's kind of like just 4-player battle royale, but it was kind of like a battle royale.
For which one?
Yeah,
Like
Conquer.
Conquer.
You never played
I did play it
the
briefly. I need to
multiplayer?
play it again. I mean, I played it, but I didn't own it. And this like I was already like in my like 20s by this time. So like I didn't like own it. But yeah. Man, I gotta go. Let me go watch it.
Yeah.
Severin's always talking about it.
The best thing is with the sword cutting the other player's head off, and then you can just I don't know as I should say it.
What?
And then you just piss all over instead of teabagging him.
What?
You didn't know that you can do that?
No, no, I didn't know that. Like that wouldn't have like just came to my mind. Like, oh, let me cut off someone's head and then let me urinate on them. Like,
Yeah.
I don't. That's not something that like naturally comes to my mind to do in a game. But I guess this was like before teabagging, so I get the progression.
Yes.
Like, why is it always why y'all?
Co- those to me, those that was the real console war back then.
Oh, oh my god.
Playing against people and talking smack and all that. That was the console wars.
Oh my god.
Not what we have now.
Not no, that was the hardcore. If you can't
Yes.
piss on them, not
No.
that's not a war. Like good people are just for Browser. I agree. I don't know. I don't get it. I guess this is why I am a casual or
People are for
a convenient gamer, as I like to call it, because I it's not what comes naturally to mind. That's what I'm missing. I don't have that. I don't have that instinct. They have the killer instinct, not thinking of the game, but you also have the pissing instinct. And if you don't have that, you can't be a true gamer. Heard it here on this channel.
Oh man.
Until they die in the bunker map. Like, look at this. I how would I have oh, great memories. Great. Do you ever like reflect on that? Like when you say something like that, and then you reflect on like, man, that was the time. Do you ever think about that? Like
I do. Definitely think about
that's
it.
what the world's missing today. We can't.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
And
That's why I love those type of games. I wish they bring more like those type of games more like yeah, fortunately. They're
pervert
not there.
games. It's like,
No, no, not only because of
that's
that, but it's more like
no.
it was fun. It was fun though. It was fun. The game was pretty fun.
No, well, obviously, like I said, Sev talks about it. I think I don't I think also Rudigs likes the game. So we've heard it come up a couple of times, Conquer's Bad Fur Day. So no, N64 obviously N64 amazing system, Star Fox 64, obviously GoldenEye, one of the greatest Zeldas ever in Ocarina of Time. Some people would even put Mario 64 up there. So amazing. No question
Mario
about
was
it.
great too. 64, and it was pretty like revolutionary at its time.
It
Also,
was 3D game.
yeah,
I mean, that's the where we get what Smash came out during this time. This is actually, I think, when we start to see
Smash,
the
yeah.
Nintendo crossover with the characters, because like Mario Tennis was out. There's actually quite a bit of stuff during this time. Um, but at one point, right, everybody graduates from N64. Like, the very rarely do I hear anybody say N64 was like my last system. And so, just like that, like, where do you go after N64?
Well, I kept my N64, but I did manage to get my hand into a PlayStation 1, and with play
Wow.
you was gonna
Okay.
say something? Oh,
No,
I
no.
was gonna say with PlayStation 1, I then of course, I got Final Fantasy because that was a game
Right.
right that I have played in the Super Nintendo. So why not? You can't go wrong with that. And a game that I really kind of like from that generation that I remember a lot. I actually got the whole. At first, I got the first one, and then I liked it so much that I grabbed the collection, which was Siphon Filter.
Okay.
And I remember having a pretty peculiar memory with that because at that time, my mother used to do like hair at the house as a side job for some extra money. And one of the kids of one of her client actually managed to go upstairs where I have my gaming system, and he grabbed my CD and he actually tossed it around and broke it in half. I remember I I gave him I gave him a hard like knuckle fist in his head, and I got in big trouble, but it was worth it. He shouldn't
Y-
have done that.
Dang. So we always have we've had stories where some people get stuff stolen, some people are stealing stuff, some people are outside arcades with kids and candy. We won't say anything holds. And then some people are the ones who it gets broken by a family member,
Yes.
it gets broken by a friend.
A- and
Um,
and and he had to break not part 1, which I have beaten twice. He had to break part 3, which I was just about to start. Like it was bad. It was bad.
so, so it was bad. You're
Yes.
like,
I still haven't beaten part 3. So yes.
oh my god. So you still haven't to this day.
No, no. That's one of the games that I wish PlayStation goes back and, kind of remake or revisit or even reboot. I really like that franchise.
So see, y'all, there is a reason why people remake games. Gosh.
Yeah, I have no problem with remakes. Just, remake games that kind of
You
like
already played. You have
no,
to
kind of
remake games
like
that you haven't played.
that you haven't played in a while. Like,
So
yeah.
you're not a fan of the remake of a game like 3 years ago? Not that?
No,
Not
no.
no,
No.
we'll get to that. We'll get to
Not at
that in a
all.
second.
No.
We'll get to that in a second. So PlayStation 1, right? A lot of people would say like revolutionary system, right? Puts Sony on the map.
Yes.
Um, do you go to here's the question, because we're trying to figure out like you hold down the Xbox flag. So I'm trying to figure out where does this happen? Like, cause like, so like, do you go
Oh, you'll
to
be
Xbox?
surprised.
Do you go to Xbox or are you still PlayStation? Are you PlayStation 2 now? Or are you like, what are you doing? PC gaming?
I'm PlayStation 2 after that.
You're PlayStation 2 at that. So you're one of
Yes.
the 150 million people who went out and bought a PlayStation 2.
Yes. Oh, I had multiple. I probably had like 2 or 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay. So you're PlayStation 2, loving
definitely.
it. Like, now are you,
Yeah.
like, engaging? Like, did you ever like, are you hardcore PlayStation at this point? Or are you just like,
Well, at that time, I wouldn't say like Nintendo, PlayStation. I was not really. I never thought of it as a like. I'm a fan of this like platform. Like, you know, I never thought of it about. I just thought about it. I'm just playing video games, and a lot of the video games too that I play were mostly like I go to whatever place or the store. The cartridge looks cool. Let me try this out. Or, of course, I go to a friend house and I see the game is, interesting or they recommend it. But, you know, yeah, I was not like, heavily investigating. Like, I didn't know that much. I just played the games and that's it.
so you're just like most of you're normal, right? You did
Yeah.
not engage in these console. You're just like,
No, no,
"Yo,
no.
man, it was there. I thought it was cool. I'm playing it. It is what it is." Which totally get it. Totally get it. That's where we are. What's your favorite game from PS2?
From PS2, I never even thought about it because, like, a lot of the games I played were like, I don't know. I just played a bunch of like different games. Like, and some of the games I play are kind of like a lot of people don't even know. Like, for example, like I played this game that I thought it was kind of cool called like Shadow of Rome.
Okay. Shadow
I
Realm. I
think,
haven't played it. Chad, have you
yeah,
played Shadow of Rome?
yeah. And basically, what you did is you play. I think it's called Shadow of Rome. You played as two characters. One of them was like a gladiator, and then the second one was kind of like a kid, and it was more like stealth, like you were hiding. So you play one chapter with one chapter with the other. Then the gladiator was more just like fight on, and then the other character was more like just hiding and stuff like that. And then there's another game, for example, called I think it's called Total Overdose. You ever play that one?
No, well, this is time. I was in the army. I wasn't playing too much, but
Total
I'm looking at
Overdose
this.
is kind of like I
You
would
piss
say
on people because the way you laugh there makes me think you're doing something perverted in this game.
no, 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 no.
I'm just saying, you're getting that
Total
laugh.
Overdose is kind of like I would say like GTA, but it was kind of like it took place like in Mexico, but it was all crazy because he had all kind of like effects. Like he had the slow motion like Max Payne, and then he also had like different ability. Like one of them I remember was called Mariachi. He would take out two like guitars and just start shooting like
What?
the Desperado. That game was wild.
I'm looking at this. Looks like a game like TK9 would like. Like I see chicks getting shot who are in bikinis. Like this is
Yeah,
like,
that game, and they had like burrito stands, and they were really like selling drugs and stuff like that. It was a wild game.
what?
It had a lot of action. Yeah.
Wow. No, I didn't play. We have not heard of these. See, this is why I like. This is why I like talking to people because you talked to me about a couple of games I wouldn't have like thought about, or I hadn't thought about, or I haven't even heard of. Um, and so this is super cool. Like Total Overdose, a gunslinger tale, a gunslinger's tale in Mexico. I mean, I like wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's when I first played. Also, Def Jam. That was a nice fighting game. I don't know. I played so many like PlayStation 2. I played a lot of games, but I really don't have like a favorite. At least not in the top of my head right now.
That's fair. That's
Yeah,
fair. You know, we're always, but I mean, you're giving
yeah.
us stuff in Mr. Urban World. I told you cannot send me something that does not exist. So, that's just I'm just on chat there. You know, um,
Oh, NBA Street. That
NBA
that was
Street.
that that was cool. Volume 2. Yeah.
You know, I'm
Yep.
just pulling these up really quick because I'm
Wait, you
like,
never played NBA Street?
I told you this whole era. Let me
Oh,
tell you, I
come
was like
on.
NBA Jam. Like this
That
game is
was
like
like
supposedly that, right?
oh,
That's what.
NBA Jam was my game in the N64.
Yeah, like in the
When
90s.
when you did the codes.
Had a tons of codes, but NBA Street, like, I'm looking at it, it's maybe a game like my brother would have played. I
Yeah,
feel like
that
it's
that
like that.
that game was wild.
Uh, your birthdays and Christmas, and that's I'm seeing y'all there. So your PlayStation 2, you play that, right? And obviously you're so this takes us to like you're in middle school, high school at this era, based upon what you're saying. Um, so do you rock? How long do you rock with PS2?
Um, I would say I rocked some like at least 4 years or so, at least. But then after that, I started getting into computers. Um, started learning how to build computers and all that. So I started making friends that were like big into like PC gaming and all that. And then I made the jump to PC, and then I just started playing mostly like it was either like um it was
Warcraft?
it was
Wow.
well first I started like playing games more that were like kind of like pirated games. I shouldn't promote that, but yes. Um
It's okay.
so
Severin pirates games all the time. He does
so I
emulation.
started with like GTA, um what else? NBA, not NBA. Need for Speed 1, Need for Speed 2, then The Most Wanted, etc. All those games. Basically games that probably I didn't buy on the PS2 and I wanted to play. I just started pirating. and and then one of my friends, I saw him playing Warcraft 3.
Yeah, it
And
was all right. I told you I knew WoW was coming in here. You said
yes,
PC gaming around this time. I was
Warcraft.
like, World of Warcraft's coming in here.
So I kept seeing him playing. It was Warcraft 3, the RTS, not the World of Warcraft. And I kept seeing him, and I at that moment I had no passion or no desire to play games like that. Like I used to look at him and I used to like, how can you play something like that? Like what are you even playing? I just see like little soldiers and stuff like that. But I kept seeing him dedicate time, a lot of time to it. And every time I went to his house, he was playing that. And I just got curious and I told him, you know what? Let me see that game. I want to play that game. So I downloaded it in my house. I started playing it and I got into the story. I got playing. Then we started having like LAN party and we started playing multiplayer. And I got hooked into that game. That's probably the game I have dedicated the most hours to. Like I used to play that game like so much.
Really? So, we had another pretty big WoW player. Um, oh my god, I can't. I can't give my names. Oh my goodness. Oh, he just goes with main games. Oh my god, former veteran, transpo. I can't think of the name. Ah, it's gonna come to me. But so no, World of Warcraft. Were you into like money in doing that? Like
Well, again, first I got into the RTS. And that's what I play the most, which is kind of like more like
Windstar. Windstar. Why could I not think of Windstar? Yeah, but go ahead.
it's more like Age of Empires, so it's more like a
Yeah,
strategy
okay.
game. And I got so into like the Lord and everything that I also started reading the books and everything. Then I got into World of Warcraft and I played until I think it's called Pandora Miss with the pandas. Then I didn't. I
Mm.
started not liking the direction of where they were going, and also, my pockets too. Paying 15 a month, I was like, no,
That's a lot back then too, right?
yeah, that was a lot, especially like
That's a
for
lot
one game.
today. I
Yeah,
just,
that's a lot today. It's
I was
for
just
one
about to
game.
say, that's like a
Yeah,
lot today.
yeah. So yeah, that kind of made me quit. But I do love the lore, like especially like to a certain point, because then I think it becomes a little bit too overwhelming. Um, that's a franchise that I think they should reboot definitely. But like the lore, like the books too, like a lot of the story. Like I was this is some oh here you go. Here this is something a lot of people don't know. In Facebook, I actually had a group and it was a Warcraft fan book, fan group for the movie because I was so excited for the movie. And I was like constantly doing a lot of posts. And in that group, I had over probably like 8,000 people.
What?
Yeah, that was a big group. Right now, I think if I go back in, there's like 3,000 people in, but it was a big group. And I was like so hype. And then when the movie came out, I was very disappointed because the movie, they cut some of the characters out, they kind of rushed the story, and a lot of things I didn't like. I mean, the movie wasn't terrible, but for someone that have read the book and had so much hype, it was so disappointing.
No, well, usually how it goes, right? I
Yeah.
think anytime you have I'm not sure if you saw, but we had Rihanna Pratchett, the writer of Tomb Raider, on the show. Shades of Purple, oh, I don't know, like 16, 17, somewhere in there. And she was, I actually still keep in touch with her. She's super cool. Anyway, she told me anytime there's like some type of material that goes with the game, like any type of backstory with the game, pick it up because it's going to be like those writers are like really pouring their heart and soul in that because they couldn't put it in the game. So, seems like you really like gravitated towards that type of stuff. So that's super cool.
Yeah, yeah. I personally like I got so into it, like I started investigating the director, which he's a good director. And I started watching some of his older
Investigating or
movies. Like
stalking?
well, Stalking, yes. I started watching
Like
all
that
his
was very kind of
films.
like it was like
I started watching all his
investigating.
films and all that, but yeah. But yeah, later after that I move on and then I started trying other MMOs. Uh, I I got to know new friends that also liked MMOs. I started playing MMOs. I played other games in between, but yeah,
Oh my god.
that's was my PC life.
Your PC life, and I see Mr. Urban World there, and, I don't know, Mr. Urban, I still haven't beat Sonic and Knuckles, so I don't know if you taught me that, and I've told the chat before, uh, I told everybody, Yakuza is one of there's certain games that can put me to sleep no matter what. Yakuza is one of them, like any of them, like, puts me to sleep. I'm not saying it's a bad game, I'm just saying for me personally, that one, Disco Elysium, is like a whole group of them that if I
I
wanna go to sleep, I try to play these games.
I've never tried a Yakuza.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I know there's a lot of fans of it. I'm just saying for me personally, it's I don't know what it is. It's like I put it on and I go to sleep. Just happens. Uh so yeah. All right. So PC gamer. So why not just stay PC the whole way? Like some point some point like what happens? Do you go into the Xbox uh obviously this is Xbox 360 era, so Xbox One, PS4. Are you still a PC gamer at this point?
Yeah, well, honorable mention, real quick. I gotta mention, I have had a bunch of Game Boys throughout my life. I don't even remember the time frame, but I know Pokemon was like, that was part of my life too. Like, I had so many Game Boys. Uh, Before I ran into Xbox, because I know you want to get there, I did have a PS4, but unfortunately, it was like probably the shortest console I've been in, and not because I wasn't enjoying it. It's because it got stolen like 2 weeks after I had it, or a
Dang.
week.
So
So
solid. Sorry to hear that sucks. That sucks.
yeah, so got stolen right away, so I couldn't play much, unfortunately. But
Dang.
anyway, after that, I have remained in PC, but I ran into a little game that I was interested in. When it first was announced, I kind of like what they shown, but then I heard the game wasn't like ready, so I just waited, and then eventually I decided to give it a try, and it was Sea of Thieves, and I started playing. I playing Sea of Thieves. I got into like PC Game Pass, or was it? Yeah, PC Game Pass, which I don't think it was called PC Game Pass when I got in, and a lot. I started like knowing people that actually had Xbox, and when I started playing with them, they kept complaining that we can't play with you because with PC gamers, it's like a hack. And I'm like, come on, man. And so then eventually, like, they kept complaining so much that I got to a point. They're like, listen, you either get a console or we're gonna stop playing with you. So I eventually I was like, okay, guys, I'll get a console. And
Wow, they bullied you.
they bullied me into getting a console. And I honestly I thought to myself, I'm like, they're just like, I don't know, they're kind of like, I don't know. Like they're complaining so much or whatever. When I got the console and then I started playing Sea of Thieves in the console, then that was an eye opening moment to me. I was like, oh wow, like now I understand why they were complaining so much. So yeah, PC gamers have a lot of advantage, especially in a game like Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves, I will say I've never played Sea of Thieves. But I know a lot of people, particularly SPG, it's a whole group of them. They sometimes play it. I think also Jeff Janak plays it sometimes, as well. I would have to. I think so. I think I've seen Jeff play it as well. Um, but I guess so you went from PC. You had you know you go to Xbox. You could play. So did you know these people, or was these are just like online gaming friends?
I knew a couple, like two or three, but most of them I started like knowing them just from playing, honestly, because they were friends of those two friends that I probably had that had Xbox. Because most of my friends or people that I knew, they actually had PlayStation. And I think one of the reason why probably I started liking more the Xbox ecosystem was of course Game Pass, because I, as a PC player, we like cheap and good, like value. That's something I don't
What are you
know. Most
talking about?
PC
You
game,
just spend money on a PC. How do you like cheap and good?
well, in the long run, you spend a lot of money in the PC, but in the long run, like you basically save a lot of money too if you think about it. You don't have to pay for online, you don't have to pay for cloud save or anything like that. And then a lot of the games you get them more cheaper in PC. They're always better discounts in PC. And then if you really really want to play a game, you can also there's other ways to play them too, which I'm not
Like
suggesting
cloud gaming?
anyone.
Are you talking cloud gaming?
No, like other
Oh,
ways you can play the game you want to play
I'm sorry.
without having to pay.
I thought you were going. Oh, without having to pay. There we go.
Yes.
There you go. So,
But
and
don't do that, guys.
and I don't know if you've been seen in chat. I had to respond to this because Ambi's in chat. So Rudigs says that Ghost of Tsushima, that's his game that he falls asleep to, and that's surprising. Ambi has told me
Wow.
Ghost of Tsushima is
I
one of
heard
the.
so many great things about it.
But Rudigs, I'm not. It's not to say it's a bad game. It's not to say it's a
True.
bad game.
The
Right.
one that I have heard a lot
It
that
just says that's
put
his
people
game to
to
fall
sleep
asleep to.
was Horizon. Horizon Forbidden. I have heard a lot that
Obi's
it's
telling me to
boring.
play Horizon.
Oh wow. Okay. But I have heard a lot from different gamers that it's kind of boring. But I haven't tried it though, so don't take it from me.
Uh oh, Sanchez, we all
So
had Sekiro on Stadia.
what I was talking about.
You were
Um. Oh
PC
yes.
gaming and how it's
So
you spend a lot of money, but you save money, but then
so
you spend
anyway,
money to
anyway.
upgrade the PC. I don't quite get it, but yeah,
It's cheaper, trust me. In the long run, it's cheaper. Plus, the other
but
thing
yeah.
is, you build a computer if you build it right, and you have the people to help you build it. The computer can last you for a long time, and you don't have to upgrade. Now, if you have the mentality that you have to have keep upgrading because you have to keep running the games at 100, and then you of course you're gonna spend more money.
Oh.
But like for example, I have a 3070 Ti right now, and I'm not expecting to upgrade like for at least a couple of years more. I'm not gonna upgrade. Like there's people that they upgrade every year, and if you do that, of course you're gonna waste much more money.
I like how you threw out there. I don't know if chat y'all caught this, but Sourblow is a dad because he threw out one of those things that dads throw out that make you like, man, dad, you're really wise. But then when you break it down, like when you become older, you're like, well, yeah, that like you said, I don't think you caught it, Sourblow. I just wanna you
Uh,
said if you build it and you build it right, it'll last. And I'm like, well, what is something that if you build it and build it right, it doesn't last? You know what I mean? Like it's just like, yeah, of course, like it's gonna last, but it's like it's like those things where you're like, if you run and you run hard, you'll be out of breath. And you're like,
no,
well,
what I mean is there's
yeah,
different
like
tricks that you learn. Like for
I'm just
example,
joking.
when I build a PC, the first the a lot of people the first thing they go for is the biggest highest like GPU, and that's the first thing I try to go is for the best
The case.
processor. No, the best
Oh,
processor that I can get, because the thing is,
see what I go for.
the first thing you actually upgrade is the GPU eventually. Like if you want to get more like performance, so why go? I don't know. That's just me. But anyway, going back to
I
gaming.
always look at the case. I'm
At
a
the
visual
case,
person. I'm
that's the
like,
last
I
thing
want
I
a
care
clear.
about.
I'm like, it's a clear case. And then the next thing I look at is how many fans can I put inside case that have colors on it?
Well,
And then
RGB does give you an extra like 20 frames per second. Yeah.
Yeah, so and then after I do I do the case, the fan, and then at that point, people are like, "Well, you're gonna need a new power supply." So power supply is always the 3rd thing for me based upon the lights, okay? And then from there, it goes some other I think I do it backwards,
Yeah, definitely.
but it works for me. Sorry.
Mm.
So because then I'm like, "Oh, like, the cooler, like, that has lights too." So then I have to find the motherboard for that right cooler. Eventually, we get somewhere to GPU, but
Oh no.
works for me.
There was a time I got obsessed, but it was with building like mini PC, like mini ITX, and
Mhm.
I kept building like mini ITX, and then I remember trying to like custom build my own like case and all that. Yeah, it was some fun time,
Custom
but
building a case, that blows my mind, actually.
yeah,
All
but
PC gamers are cheaters. No, you're just not good as you think you are. Or, I mean, severance,
hey,
severance.
I play in console too now, so
You playing console, so he some people would say he took a step back, but he did it for the game. He did it for the community.
yeah, did it
So,
for my friends.
he
Yeah.
did it for his friends. Aw, I feel like that's like a that could be like a like a
So
crying.
so I do want to say so from playing Sea of Thief, since I had Game Pass, I did started trying out some video games that I kind of wanted to try, and some of them honestly I have heard like bad things, but since I started trying the games and I was enjoying them, I was like, maybe I shouldn't listen too much to the people that were telling me these games were bad because I'm actually liking a lot of these games. And those were like Rise on of Rome, Quantum Break, to mention a few. I thought they were actually good games. I wouldn't say they were masterpiece, but they were great and they were fun.
Most of the games I like are all between the scores of 65 and 80. So
Yeah.
that's why I
So
always say like a lot of the games
yeah.
I like. So that's why I don't listen. It's like watching like movie critics. The only movie critic I listen to is and now your mama knows Cowboy.
Cowboy.
I actually do watch his movie reviews. So Cowboy, I think I saw you out there in chat. I do actually watch those. Uh, so but, so
Cowboy
alright,
don't
so
know
you're
his wife.
so you're an Xbox so, like, you're an Xbox gamer, you come into this thing, you're a PC gamer, you're an Xbox gamer, how do you be go from that to being on Xbox International, which is all about console warring, Xbox fanboys no, I'm joking, it's not like that, yeah, but how do you go from that how do you get involved? Like, how do you meet this group of people who are in chat? You got I've seen Crazy Louie's out there, Silent Cypher's out there, you have some of your neighbors with Web Dave and a few others. They're all out in chat. Eternal Shad Eye's out right now. So how do you get to like get connected with these people? Like what happens where you're just like, you know what? I went from PC. I'm kind of liking some of these games. Well, actually, you didn't even mention really you're liking Xbox games, but you're playing on Xbox, so that's what your friends are playing on. How do you go from there to there?
Okay, so I'm gonna backtrack a little bit for before I get to like how we got to XBI podcast. And before that, the first podcast I started was actually a sport Spanish podcast with two other friends. And I would say that was kind of like a learning process that kind of like helped me out later on. Eventually, like they got busy, so they couldn't continue, and I didn't feel like continuing by myself. So I kind of like scratched that. And in that same moment that I kind of like was ending it, I met Crazy Lou, and I met him in a WhatsApp chat, which they were like console warring and all that.
Not Louis.
And
He just told me he doesn't console war.
oh, he was console warring, all right. So
Oh,
don't come with that, Lou. I'll throw you in the I'll throw you out in the in the open. So they were kind of like console warring. Me and him got into a conversation, and I think there was someone in the group that kind of didn't want like the conversation to keep going. I don't know. And me and Lou just he started hitting me up privately, and then we just started talking. And eventually, I think we even left that group, and we just kept talking on our own. And I I don't know if he learned that I was doing a podcast, and then he kind of told me like we should do a podcast. And then we actually started a Spanish gaming podcast. And then we got the idea because we met Silent Cypher. We actually met also shout out to Mr. Dark,
So
which he also started with us.
Mr. Giant and Dark.
Yes.
And then
I
you have
didn't wa-
a professional baseball player in Plume.
and Plume. Well, Plume came later down, but
Okay.
when initially like we started the Spanish one, and then we started the idea with XBI, and then it got to a point where I told Lou, like I really want to do both of them, but I cannot like it was too much to handle. Like two podcasts at the same time, two entirely different like community because the Spanish community is completely different.
Oh,
And then
I mean,
yeah,
when I you had Ecstasy, me and Ecstasy, I mean, I feel like that was like part of the Spanish Xbox community.
yeah, it's very different. So so I was like, I can't do both. And the Spanish one is just me and you, but then the English one we also have more help. And I kind of have more fun with the whole group. So we just went with XBI. And then eventually we met Plume, and then we asked Plume, which honestly I didn't even think he would join us. I'm like, he's not gonna join these four crazy dudes.
Y'all have an
And
interesting crew. Like, that's all I'm gonna say. Y'all have
we're
an
all yeah,
interesting crew.
we're all so
Like you have
different.
Louis, who's like probably the only one who I think can like entertainment wise, like I'm still laughing at that Cowboy and Louis like show, like thing they did. I'm still laughing at that. That was hilarious, y'all.
Well, the funny
Um,
thing is they didn't even know what they were doing. I told
oh
them
really?
Yeah, I told them to record each
Oh, I
thing,
wish I
and
had
then
that on.
and then I put it together.
I wish I had, oh, God, I got pulled that out so everybody could see kinda like the series y'all did throughout the
Yeah.
show. That
It's the
was
same,
pretty
like
funny.
did you see the one I did with, that had Louis and Alan Wake?
No, I haven't seen which one
Oh,
is it?
okay. You should see that.
I'll go back and watch. I'll go back and watch. I try to catch it
It
because I have to catch those at work, usually on
I
Wednesdays.
told Lou to record himself doing something, and then Silent Cypher, which he has an awesome, like, voiceover voice.
Yeah,
I
it's
asked him,
crafted.
"Can you think you can do Alan Wake voice?" And then I told him the idea, and then he recorded it for me, and then I put it together.
Oh my
That was
goodness,
fun.
I'd have to watch this.
Yeah.
So y'all, if y'all did not know, Xbox International has an amazing show Wednesdays, usually 7:15, 7:30 time for Eastern. Great show, great community they have over there.
It's 7, it's just that sometimes we
So
start a little
it's
late.
a
Yeah,
little late.
sometimes the flight, you know.
The flight, it might be raining or something, but great group. And usually have guests, main four people, Sourblow, y'all have met Silent Cypher, you met Crazy Louie. You'll eventually will probably bring Plume on. And then obviously there's the Espanol side where Eternal Shaddai, who we probably will be hearing from pretty soon as well.
Oh, nice.
Um, and it's just interesting because y'all are very different. Like you have Plume, who I feels like is just like he's always on edge, in my opinion. Like, he's like kind of always there. You have like Silent Cyber. He's kind of like the very professional, like type of like, well, it's his voice kind of serious. Louis,
He's a hack. He's cheat. He cheat. He
he's
has that voice.
yeah, and then you have you, who's just like the go, like bring it together type of deal. So it's a really
Yeah.
cool thing y'all have going over there, and I
Another
definitely
thing
will.
that a lot of people don't know that I will say this. My initial idea was when I started podcasting because I didn't actually want to be like in the camera. Like my idea was like I was just gonna handle everything and be in the background. But then eventually the guys were like, "No, you gotta be in it." So
No,
thanks
I
to
think
that.
you
Yeah.
bring a lot. I mean, I enjoy it. I enjoy, like I said, I enjoy you have a pretty cool chat. because like the shows, anything, whether it's someone's playing a game or someone's show, like it's always a great, cool place to like hang out, and you start to see some of the same people. You kind of get to know them through that,
Yes.
and I always try to. Wit knows this if she's still out in chat. Like Wit was one of the first people I told about. Like I wanted a channel for a community situation. Like I think just building community. It's kind of the answer to a lot of the problems in the world, and especially in gaming. Just continue to build community, continue to build connections with people. Um, and so I think you'll have a great thing. I told Louis, I've told Silent Cypher the same deal there. So that's how you met them, right? And so you'll have this channel. It's really doing well. Thank you. I've been on it a couple of times. So thank you all for bringing me on, and always thank you for
Oh, it's
having
an
my back.
honor. Yeah.
And having my back. I know one time it was a little crazy there for a second, but no, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't really. It was just like a few people.
Yeah,
But
there's always people that get heated. Like I have been called pony, like so it's like it is
oh
what it is.
yeah,
Like
I
people,
mean,
yeah.
I think it's funny. Well, I think you're the most skeptical of like the bunch, right? You have Louis who throws gasoline on the fire.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, you have like Silent Cypher who like holds the line, in my opinion. Like he's like, here's this, and then you have like Plume, who's just like, I don't know, Plume's like always like
Wait,
fancy.
you're gonna have to like give me some more definition after that. What's the what does that
Oh no,
mean?
I just feel like Plume's like always like he's very what's the word I'm looking for? Somewhat spastic. He's like the one who's like if you get him going, he's going, you know? And so like that's how I see him on the show. Like you all, in my opinion, play like a certain type of I don't think you do it on purpose, but it just works the mixture of you all.
Yeah.
Because like I said, like Louis kind of knows when to throw more gasoline on the fire, like dial it back. Like
Well,
so yeah.
Lou is actually completely out of control. We kind of have to like
Yeah, you put him in there, but I
we
think he
kind of
like
have
he
to like.
knows how to bring that. He knows
Oh
his
yeah. Oh
pacing.
no, he has so much energy. Like if it was
Yeah,
for Lou, like he has no off button.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, Turtle Shadow, I think that's what I said. Edgy. He's very edgy. Plume is like edgy, like or
Yeah.
not edgy. Like he's just like very like if you get him going, he's going. Like he's the type of person where if you wanted to mess with someone and see someone get in a fight just for your entertainment, Plume is the person you would pick to like rile up, to like push him to that point. In my opinion. I'm not saying that's what he would do,
So
y'all.
so if we're fighting, I'm taking Plume with me.
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying. He's like the type. And then, like I said, like you have Silent Cypher, who's like very like he has the voice. He's like, well, I think blah blah blah. But sometimes like Silent Cypher's takes are probably like the most console war on the show. But the way he
he,
talks, it comes
he,
off
he,
very like professional. But
he does get pretty toxic sometimes.
his takes are like the most, like the
But
most.
sometimes he does bash Xbox when he has to, but he does get pretty toxic
Yeah,
sometimes.
his takes are like the most like I feel like if you wanted to categorize something as console war, I would say his takes are like that. And
Yeah,
then and then like you're kind of just like you're kind of like the like just you can go with any of them, but you always have like you have your smile going on. You're just like, like so that's how I like that. Very, very cool show. Um, so that you have. Uh, but with that said, I also wanted to Silent Cypher also had kind of like, I always like the art in the background. Silent Cypher actually always has something going on with, the games he likes in the art. He likes horrors and slasher films, which I really think is cool. What I really want to focus on is behind you. It seems like you have like some art here behind you. Some
oh
of
yes.
some of your Are these some of your favorite games, or are you just like the art style of these games? Like, talk to us through this.
No, these are actually some of my favorite games. There's some missing still that I still need up there, but um Starfield's up there.
So let's bring him up, y'all. I'm gonna go smaller on this so y'all can see this because I think this is pretty cool. All right,
Actually,
here we go.
I'll start up top, very top. Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Of
So
course,
you didn't mention Pokemon at all.
no, I did. I
Oh,
mentioned
you
it,
did. You did. You
and
did.
I said honorable mention. That I had a Game Boy. I have many Game Boys, and Pokemon was like life. So I
Is that an
did play a
Ash?
lot of
Is
Pokemon.
that Ash? Like,
Well, that's more like Red,
oh my.
like the character that you played in Game Boy, and then of course Charmander. Charmander is the choice to pick. Not
Always.
not not Bulbasaur, not Squirtle. Charmander. Okay.
Okay. Paul World. That's a Starfield, and then Starfield, and some people. We were just talking about games that put people to sleep. I see you have some on there. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. Don't get on me. Okay.
Hey, I, I'll say this about Starfield. I love Starfield, but I can see some people probably not liking it because I feel it has its flaw, but I also feel like it's sometimes criticized more than it should. But it is what it
Oh,
is.
it gets in the console. And that PlayStation gamer, I will tell you. I will tell you when we bring you on. But keep going. Keep going.
I got Titanfall 2, which for me is actually the best first person shooter story. Like hands down. Warcraft, of course, that's Arthur's Menethil. To me, like the best story. You gotta read the book at least if you like reading.
If you like good caveat. Good caveat on that one.
I got Master Chief, Halo.
That's gotta have it.
I got Batman from Arkham Knight, and Batman's the best superhero. I got Geralt of Rivia, Witcher 3. Then I got Metro, and I would say then I have I have another I have a Halo kind of like
See Halo.
figure,
See that?
Skyrim, one of my favorite
Oh,
RPG. I got Sam Fisher right there, and then
wow.
there's an Overwatch like flashlight, like a light lamp, which I have turned off. Then I got the Halo like collection of like stuff there. I have a few like Halo books there, Game of
Wow.
Thrones books, and I think that's it for now. Yeah.
This is super cool. I always like
Oh,
this
shout
is just
out real quick to the Danny Pena book. So Danny Pena, I don't know if you guys know, but
go ahead.
he does podcasting. He's probably the first Latino to do podcasting. He's actually from the Dominican Republic, so representing and yeah,
Have you met him?
yeah. He actually went to our show once.
Oh wow.
So
So
yeah,
that's pretty
so
cool
it
for
was an
you.
honor having him. Oh yes.
So no, I always like it. So I always like, you kind of get to see the type of games you like. So you obviously like kind of that action. You're very story driven. So you're very
Right.
narrative driven. Oh gosh. Why? 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 Why?
Joanna Dark.
Why? Why?
What do you mean why? Because it's
Joanna
the
Dark.
one of the best game ever.
Joanna Dark.
Most underrated game. Speaking
How?
of underrated game,
Underrated. Give us your underrated game.
what was that?
No, give us your underrated game.
Oh, I was say speaking of underrated game, there's a game that's coming soon that's I'm very very hype of, and the first game was very very underrated, and that is
Dragon Dogma.
yes,
Dragon
yes,
Dogma, y'all. Dragon.
I
So
can't
like,
wait.
so I remember this trailer came out like what was like 2022. Actually, this has flown under the radar for me. Like I'm telling you right now, it's not a game I was like, oh, I'm hyped for that. Shout out to Lion. Because Lion's like Purple. This is like for sure one of the few games this year that is for sure a day and date buy. I'm hyped. I'm hyped for it. I'm hyped. I think I'm excited for more games this year than I was for last year. Even though I think the games I was really excited for last year, I was really excited for. But the games I'm really, really excited, like there's just more. Like this first half of 2024, I is pretty solid. Pretty solid for me.
For
Dragon Dogma for February is going to be a phenomenal. Capcom, hats off.
yeah,
What do we do? Rudix, you do it for every single game. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Whatever.
There's 3 games this year that I'm super, super hyped for. That's one of them. The other one is Avowed, because I love Obsidian and I love RPGs. And then the last one is Stalker 2, which I hope comes out this year, but I just hope, the studio have enough time to fully develop the game that they want to do. We know what's happening over there. But I love the first Stalker, and I'm a huge fan of Metro, even though it's not the same team, but part of the Metro team grew from that original like Stalker team.
Let's see. Let's see. Thank you for that, Ambi. Thank you. So I would say for me, like Dragon Dogma, Prince of Persia, like I am excited about that. I think you can go
That game
download the
looks
demo.
good. Yeah, but
That download the demo.
I'm not like hype where I need to buy it day one, but I will play that eventually.
So
The
I'm
Prince of
looking forward
Persia.
to that. I mean, if I ever play a PlayStation 5, I may get Rise of Ronin.
That looks good.
You know, obviously one of the ones I've been looking forward to for a couple of years now has been Black Myth Wukong. That I don't think that's coming out in the first half of this
I,
this year.
it got it has a date. It's actually August.
Right, so that's second half. The other one I'm really that's escaping me right now. The other one I'm really looking out forward to, and it's coming out in the first half of this year. Give me 1 second, I'll be able to pull this up.
While you look for that, Wukong is a game that is probably not like my style, but it looks so good that I at least want to try it.
Yeah, no, they
Yeah.
say it's a soul game. So the other one I am literally looking forward to. I actually posted about this. Banisher's Ghost of New Eden.
Oh
Really,
yeah, I seen
that
that.
that
Looks good.
really looking out for really looking forward to that one. Um, I don't another game that we haven't really talked about, and I think in the community, the chats I've been in and the shows I've talked about, but I also think it could be kind of cool. Warhammer Space Marine. I haven't really
Oh yes,
right?
yes.
Hey,
I
what's up, Cherry Man?
I forgot about that one. Yeah, that looks
Uh
good.
Super Mario Thousand Year Door. I know Paper Mario 7's always up on that one. Uh, so I think that one's another one. Obviously, y'all already know. Look, who am I representing right now? There, I got to. 6 from Little Nightmares. So super excited about Little Nightmares 3. You already know that. Really excited about that one. Uh
I think you're gonna be able to play co-op now, right?
Co-op, yep.
That's cool.
Looking forward to that. And then another one that's coming out really soon. It's going to be couch co-op, which I don't. Is it called couch co-op? Local co-op. I think that's what we call it. Contra. So I'm really excited to jump into that with my
Contra.
brother. Yeah, Contra.
There's a new Contra coming out.
There's a new Contra coming out from Konami. It's kind of new graphics. It's going to be
That's another SNES game that I loved a lot, even though I never beat
yeah.
it. But
Looks like they're going back to kind of the basics with that. And I am so excited. Like my brother, y'all know, like we all are doing like this co-family thing right now, and I'm really actually excited about that. But I showed it to my brother, and it was so
oh, it looks
cool.
good.
Right. And if you listen to the score, it's an orchestra score of the original soundtrack. So y'all know I'm really big into soundtracks and scores. And so it looks like just a fun back to basics type of game. Probably do it in a weekend. But I showed it to him. And I don't think y'all have ever seen my brother or I've talked to, but y'all know he was blown up in Iraq. And so it's kind of messed with him as being blown up would mess with someone. But showing him Contra again, it was like I could see like the kid in him again.
Wow.
And so I'm just super excited to like jump into that with my brother. Uh so yeah, so there's so many of these games that are like low key, like kind of launching. Like no one's I keep talking to people about Konami one, about Contra, and they're like, what? Uh
You know what makes me feel good about Contra, even though I never beat it? I saw a professional player, a gamer. I think he was like a Fortnite gamer or something like that. That he couldn't get past the first level. I'm like, what? I at least got past the
Oh,
first
really?
3
No,
levels. So
Contra's so I mean, I think it's just like it's typical like game loop, like you're just going, shooting, running, and they're introducing some new characters that you can be. So I'm excited. Like they're bringing some abilities like up
I think the
level.
best memory though is playing it co-op because of the fact that you're always arguing like, "Oh, you took the life out."
Oh
You
yeah, or you
yeah.
took the weapon, you took the
Yeah.
the weapon, oh man, it's gonna be
You're
pretty
losing
cool.
all the lives. Oh my god,
No,
yeah.
it's gonna be pretty cool. So I'm actually, like I said, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking for it, and I talked about it. I do the horror games. So there's a new Dark Pictures anthology game that's coming out. So I'm really like kind of looking to that. These are all like the first half of um 2024. So yeah, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like yeah, it's just like uh
Yeah.
really cool time. I haven't even talked about the puzzle games I follow. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I also one more thing also I gotta say, one thing that also kind of like got me into more like the Xbox ecosystem besides Game Pass was also like probably the games that were announced early. A lot of them kind of cater more to what I liked, which
yeah.
were like RPGs, and then you have person shooters, which is kind of more my style. And then of course they kind of show Perfect Dark, which I kind of feel when it releases, hopefully not, but I feel like I'm gonna get disappointed because I hope they kind of capture a lot of like the N64, but like of course like more modified and stuff. But like I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of things that I have a lot of like what do you say? What's the word I'm looking for? Um wow, I can't get the word, but I'm really looking forward to that game and I hope they don't screw it up. But
Yeah, I think for
usually when
me,
you have high expectation, yeah.
it's gonna be like the movie. And no, the original Contra Nintendo 7 was the best ever. Like in Cowboy, what are you talking about? What are you, I can walk you through each level of that game right now on the show. Like
I don't think I
literally.
played that one. I played the Contra 3, I think it was.
Oh my no, I play well, everybody has as long as you have a Contra story, you're good. You know what I
You're
mean?
good.
As long as you have a Contra story, I'm okay. Like there's a whole generation of people who are like, "What are you talking about, Contra?" And I'm like, "Stop." Like just stop talking. Was the best so you were wrong ever. Oh my god, no. Oh my god, no. Well, you know, this is Sourblow show, so I don't want to hijack it on this Contra conversation. But I played the original Contra. Roster, yes, that's the best one. What's the best gun in the original Contra? The spreader, the 3-shooter spreader. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me it's not
But
that one.
I think it's the one that follows you. Like once you got that, like the one that follows the enemy.
In the first one,
I
that
mean,
they don't. The
oh,
first one,
I haven't played the first one. That's
the
all.
first one, you have that. You have like a machine gun. You have another one that like swirls. Like so, you have a
Swords
fast
around.
shooting one. You have another one that's like kind of swirls, and then you have like another one that's like a laser. Laser, but no, it's like it might be. It's the spreader.
Okay, then it's either that or the one that swirls.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah. So
yeah,
I told you I passed the
I'll say it depends on the situation,
test.
but most of the time it's the one that's spread. I'll say
Yeah, I
I'll
would say that
it,
because it's the one that's spread
based on
out.
the ones you're telling me.
The swirl, you could definitely get like more hit points, but I feel like the spreader shoots fast and it spreads out. I don't know. To me, the spreader was always like the
Yeah.
the top
Uh,
one.
On part 3, they have like a missile one, and then they have the missile one that kind of follows the enemy. It goes to
Mm,
the enemy. So that one, yeah, that one's pretty OP.
so like I said, I'm excited about this new one just because I'm like, what are they gonna bring back? Like I said, they're gonna do an orchestra score of the music. It kind of follows the same story. Like they're going, like I said, they're going back to the basics. And hats off to Konami. Like we know what they've been going through, that publishers went through. So um like I'm gonna support it. I'll probably do a giveaway for it as soon as I find out when it comes out because I think they say early 2024. But yeah, sorry, like your dad, maybe that's something you want to play with your kids. It reminds me, remember that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Shredder's Revenge came out and like it was really hot for like a week. I
Yeah,
hope this one is I feel like this one may be similar to that, but, Contra for sure for me is, like, really great memories.
yeah. The problem with these games, even though like you have fond memories with them, but there's so many like newer games coming out, and usually like the masses, the majority of gamers they just want to play the new and better graphics looking and all that. So that's why they seem to trend like for a week or two, or unfortunately, sure,
No,
because
there's
yeah,
so many games coming out though, right? Like,
yeah,
there's so many games. You got people on, like, PC. Like, PC gaming back in the day was different. Like, you had, Myst like, it was different. Like, I mean,
yeah.
if I go back even further than that, like, the Apple IIe time frame, it was just different. Like, games had, like, this educational spin to it. Um
I remember at school playing. I don't know if you ever got to play this. You ever got to play Bugnum, an Apple computer?
oh,
I
man.
used to love that game. I
Which
remember
one?
it's called like Bugnum. I remember the teacher said if you type your like essay or whatever they made you type, you were able to use your spare time to play or do whatever you wanted. And I used to get into that game. You were like a bug, and you were kind of like trapped in a bug world. Kind of like imagine Grounded, but you're like a bug, and you're kind of like playing different levels and stuff. And it had like mini bosses and stuff. I thought that game was
What?
cool for that moment.
I
You
so
never played?
I told like, the game I played, like, this was this is a while
Let
ago.
me see
Like,
if I can find it because that's an old
there was
game.
a game called Odell Lake, and it was a game, like, you were, like, this fish, and you had to, like, navigate this lake, and you had to say, like, it would give you choices to either, like, eat something or ignore something. You got points, and that's, like, the first, like, computer game that I remember playing. Um, and then they had games that were, like, because initially, like, typing wasn't, like, to help you learn how to type, there were games that had, like, some type of skill built in. The faster you type, the more points you scored, like, so anyone remember Bugs Knack? I remember Bugs Knack.
No, not
Um,
Bugs Snack. Bugs Dump.
Bug Numb, I don't remember Bug Numb.
Yeah,
Like,
I will actually
um,
send you the link. Let me see.
Bug Numb. And Cowboy, the Contra game is going to be local co-op. So let me see this. Open link in new tab. So we can't play that, but I am totally down to do Darksider Genesis. Probably the one thing if they announced this year, I would be super excited about. Bug Dumb. Okay, hold on. What the heck is this? Looks like a CD-ROM type of game.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
I think it was a CD-ROM type.
oh, look at this. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Bugdom. It's Bugdom, like kingdom, but Bugdom. So I see that. Interesting. Fun. Fun.
It was fun. It was fun.
um no, so that's super cool. I like Darkseid Genesis on stage. I liked it too, Rouster. I liked it too. Darkseid, it's actually a cool game. Y'all know I'm a big fan of Darksiders. That's why I'm liking Atlas Fallen, as y'all know. It reminds me of well, not of Genesis, but of like Darksiders 1 and Darksiders um Death, the second one. So not super cool. So wow, man, we're talking like that's why I like what game, the games you're excited about. You learn a lot about the people about the games they're excited about. And it seems like so you're definitely excited about Perfect Dark. You can just tell you're excited about it. Sounds like you're kind of holding out hope that maybe we get a StarCraft, right? That
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
you're looking
I
forward to.
actually wish that they make both an RTS and also a first-person shooter.
A real-time
That would be
strategy and a first-person shooter for StarCraft.
yeah. And for Warcraft, I hope they make an RPG rather than like yeah.
MM, we call
Like
Warcraft? Yeah.
what I mean an RPG, more like kind of like a Witcher style. Yeah,
Ah,
that's what I mean.
Witcher style. Simpleton, wrong. Darksiders. I think Darksiders 2 Death is the best. We'll come back to this story. Just want to catch up on chat on this one. Darksiders 3, I liked the world, but I say Darksiders 2. Darksiders 2 is the best one, for sure. You can't go wrong with that one. Perfect Dark coming in 2030. It's that PlayStation gamer. Don't rile. He's getting people riled up. All I need is Kubini here, and there will be a all-out war going on.
There's no rush. There's plenty of games to play.
Yeah, there's so many games. There's so many games to go back to. Unless you're like a super solid, like you can beat like a game a
Yeah.
week.
There's yeah. Once you're a parent, and you don't have.
No,
time
once you have a job,
and a job.
once you have
Exactly.
responsibilities,
Yeah.
it's hard to, for sure. It's like
Yeah, but I play all type of games. Like right now, I'm playing. I'm trying Lies of P, which I don't play Souls game.
that's Rudig's. If he's probably left already.
Yeah.
That's one of his Chef Kiss games.
Okay, I'm playing it. It's pretty good so far, and I'm also playing at the same time Wolfenstein.
Ah.
So yeah, it's two completely different games. And
Very
usually I play three. Usually I throw in an indie also at the same time. So
Yeah, so right now I was what did I just started House of Ashes. So I'm playing that. I'm playing
oh, I saw you play a little bit of House of Ashes.
Atlas
Excellent.
Fallen.
Yeah.
I'm playing and yes, y'all, I did beat Alan Wake the first one because I was getting ready for Alan Wake 2. And
Ooh.
but I am now playing Alan Wake 2 off stream because it's a game I can't really play on stream.
I
I need to.
I recently beat Alan Wake 2.
What'd you think?
Sort of.
Oh.
Um I don't know if I should tell you this. It's not really a spoiler, but it's more like preparing you for something like
Okay, we'll talk.
let's just
Give me a couple of weeks, and then we'll talk.
here, I'll it's not really a spoiler. I'll just tell you this. You
Yeah.
beat the game if you because a lot of games do this. You beat the game, you want the real ending, you're gonna have to probably replay it again.
Okay.
I hope that didn't ruin
No,
it.
it's okay. That
Okay.
doesn't. It doesn't. And then another thing I play a lot, and I don't think anybody really plays these in our community. But it's a game called the Ides Tides Hotel. So it's like the ones that's like a real life actors, but they have like you choose what they go do.
Is that the one? Because I saw. What is it called again? Let me look
The
it up.
Ides Tides Hotel. And so there's a couple of games like this. It's from a certain studio, and the Isles Tides Hotel. I think that's what it is. The Isles
Oh,
Tides
okay.
Hotel.
Yeah, I found it.
Yeah, so like it's like real actually.
Oh, okay.
I
It's kind
play
of
this like
like
once a week. Yeah, because like it's interesting. Like it has a lot of replayability in it. So like I've probably been in like 4 or 5 times, just getting different stories to figure out more about the story.
I don't know if I have never I tried two of these type of games and I never kind of like figure them out. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't know if
it's definitely a thing. For me, it's like what I come to realize is like the first one is I always play it in it's my gut instinct. I don't try to like trick the game. Uh and you're gonna beat the game. The game's going to end. Okay. But it's always like they leave you. You kind of have to go back and play it again to kind of figure out what's actually going on. And I find that really kind of cool. So something I do probably once every other week or so. I go back and play it to try to figure out more about this hotel and the characters in it. It's kind of cool for me at least. I'm not telling y'all to go
Yeah.
play it.
I
We
I
all have
just can't haven't figured them out. I
yeah.
don't know. And they don't really like attract me. I just
No, it's not really game
yeah.
mechanic. It's really storytelling. So I totally hear that. Like if you're into like gaming and the game mechanics and stuff, for me, like I've told people like if there's not a game, like gaming competes with me with like movies and TV. So a game has to be really engaging for me to not read a book or do something else. And so for this one, it kind of like scratches that itch of curiosity. I don't know, kind of different like that. Um, but so yeah, so like I said, tons of games this year. We mentioned some of the games this year. Um, so we're gonna ask you a couple of things. We've traditionally we would have like closed down the show, but I think we kind of go a little bit longer now on these shows. I want to ask you some questions about most recent news,
Ooh,
if that's okay, because you're from
sure.
Xbox International, so get your non Xbox International
Well,
take.
well, correction. They corrected me last Wednesday. It's a third party international.
Third party international. Oh,
That's what's
who did that? Who?
I think it was last. I think it was last.
Oh my goodness.
So shout out to him if he comes around. Or
Purple, you replay it to see if it is actually David Bowie on the Sides Hotel or on David Bowie for what's it called? Dark Pictures Anthology. It is David Bowie in Dark Pictures Anthology. But as far as so what do you think about that? Like what do you think? Like does it I would actually think you don't care as much if Xbox became a third party went the way of Sega.
no, no, not at
Yeah.
all. Like I mentioned this like at the like what I really like would be bothered for, and I said it in last podcast is if they don't keep the promise of like continuing to bring the games to Game Pass, because this is something this is probably one of the biggest thing that got me into the ecosystem was like all these games are coming to Game Pass. So I'm able to save money, on that end, and then I can invest the rest of my money, like, that I would buy some of these games, and I can probably buy games like, for example, I want to play Dragon Dogma 2, I want to play, certain other games. So as a parent, that kind of saves me money. So I
I
would be
find
more
that
bothered with
parents
that.
are more excited about game if you're a parent or not a parent, I think that determines that I think is a determinant of excitement about Game Pass.
Yeah. And then the other thing is that let's say whatever game it's coming out, if the game only comes to my platform, like sure, I'm happy it's coming to my platform, but what does it really hurt me if it goes to another platform? Like why should it bother me? Like I don't know. I have never understood that part, but
No, I think for me, I don't necessarily care about exclusivity. What I do, because to me, like if I want to play, for me personally, if I want to play a game, I'll go play it. The only reason I care about it, and I think it's about 50-50 now for the games I like to play. Well, I like co-op games, right?
yeah,
So,
I like them too.
uh, we have Rouster in chat. He and I played Orcs Must Die and Diablo. Ambi and I have played Outriders, and a couple of people I played Outriders with, and Remnant. I there's actually a part of me that really, really likes co-op games, and so the only reason I care about I don't like it when I can't play with someone on another system. So depending on the game, there is cross-platform play, but that's the only real reason I care about exclusivity or non-exclusivity. But for me, there's certain studio. I actually follow developers and publishers more than I follow like consoles. Um, like working with some of those publishers and developers. It's like I kind of know their philosophies, and there's certain ones that I gravitate towards their games more so than others. Um, and so that's why with Xbox, it's not really Xbox publishing. It's more like who their studios are, who they're still there, and determines how close I am to Xbox or to PlayStation or to Nintendo for that matter.
Okay. I
But
more
I
look yeah. I more look at the style of like the genre, like like I always gravitate RPG, first person. Those are like my two like main. And then I try everything else. Oh, another thing that I do support and I do like a lot is indie games. Indie games to me are like, especially like if you look at the last 3 4 years, to me they have been much more innovative than all these like
Well,
AAA games.
well, I think that the game industry, and I said this before the Game Awards. If you think about it, Simpleton actually highlights this a lot. That all the big developers at one time were indie developers, right? Like you start eventually. At one point, you were an indie develop, and so if you think about the Game of the Year winners recently, are all like mostly indie developers, right? Not the indie like so much just small, but they're on their own.
Yeah,
They kind of all like one type of game. And so I think indies just that's where creativity is in everything. And we you and I talked about this before. Like if
yes,
you're a game dev, Severin would know this. He's worked on some devs. It's Microsoft Studios Purple Haze. Well, that's the oh gosh. Fine.
damn, they're
I know.
correcting it.
I know Sanchez comes strong.
I know.
Summer Sanchez has become like this Xbox fanatic. No, I'm joking, Sanchez. No, you're not. And I've worked on some devs. You've worked on some games. Sorry. You've worked with some developers. I would say that's a fair statement, I think. And where was I going with that? Uh yes, like if you think you have like a vision, you can't do that at a big developer. You cannot do that at an established
Yeah, most
company
time
just
you
because
can't.
they're not going to take the risks. They're not gonna like there's just so much bureaucracy. So if you have like the skill set and you think you can put together the team, you're gonna go off on your own and you're gonna try to make whatever happens happen.
Yeah,
Um so I definitely follow that's kind of what I follow. And that's why I don't really look at, oh, the studio that did X, Y, and Z. I look at the like, when they'll show like a game trailer or launch and they're showing you the game for the first time. Something I look at really closely if I've never heard of the game is is it coming from the developers of XYZ IP that I liked, or is it coming from the studio of the IP I liked? And so that's why even though I'm super excited about Little Nightmares, I'm super nervous about Little Nightmares.
because it's
Uh,
not. Yeah,
it's not from the same development team. Same from the same publisher, right? Bandai Namco's doing it. Um, and they are getting Supermassive, which is another I like Supermassive, like they do Dark
yeah,
Pictures Anthology, but they are not Tarsier Studios and that development team. Same thing with Darksiders, right? There's some rumors about who could be working on Darksiders. They're not the original like THQ Nordic team, but they have the developers from THQ Nordic or THQ back then. So I don't know. I hear you though. Totally hear
you
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 on
just made me remember another PlayStation game that I really liked from the PlayStation One. Souls Reaver. Oh my god, that was a
Souls
great.
Reaver.
Yeah, you never play Souls? Oh my god,
No, I have not played
Souls Reaver,
Souls Reaver.
the Legacy of Kain.
Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver.
That was a great game.
But I like action adventure. Like I like this. Oh, Crystal Dynamics, now owned by Embracer Group. I am actually kind of hurt with Embracer right now. A lot of good people are at Embracer. Um, so maybe we'll see. I haven't played it. But I told you, sorry, like I left gaming there for a second. Um, so definitely. So what would you say is your most anticipated moment for 2024?
Uh, like game or moment?
Gaming moment, game or moment. Like some people would, and here's why I phrased it that way. Once you tell me,
Hmm. Well, the thing is the most anticipated thing that probably for 2024 would probably be Stalker 2,
Okay.
but I'm not sure if it's going to happen 2024 because of, everything going on. But like I really enjoyed, like I said, I enjoyed the old Stalker. I enjoyed the Metro. I really like kind of like that environment, and then like kind of like I would. It's not really mythology, but it's more like kind of like that setting. I think it's pretty like peculiar. I even like I actually want to read the book that there's a book that inspired the Stalker game. I
Hmm.
actually want to read that. And there's actually the Metro games are actually from a book too. I actually want to read them too. So yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty excited for that game.
Oh, that's super. It sounds like you're also kind of excited to jump into some books. For me, the reason I said that moment is because it's not all about, um, especially in the console gaming space. Uh, I think some of the biggest news is potentially a Switch 2, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah, like
Which actually I recently, well, it's not really mine, it's my son, but I will use it too. I got him a Switch. So,
really?
yeah.
You're part of
Wh-
the 8 million people who just recently bought a Switch. Switch is still selling a massive amount. It's
I mean,
crazy.
it has so many fun games. I was playing already like a bunch like Mario Kart and stuff with him. So, yeah.
No, Switch, actually can play there's one game that the reason I got an Xbox and started playing on Xbox was for after Stadia, because there was one game that I really wanted to play. Like, it was funny because the first time I came on your channel or on Xbox International, you asked me, Sourblow, you're like, "What kind of games do you like on Xbox?" And you said, "Do you like racers? Do you like fighters? Do you like shooters?" And, and I was like, "None. None of those. I like Ori. Ori is my favorite Xbox series." So that's super cool. Um,
Which did you let me ask you real quick. Did you see the new game that Moon Studio is making?
yes, that's another one of my that's another
Looks
one that
looks
I'm
very
super,
good.
like,
Yeah.
looking forward
Wait,
to.
that coming this year?
Yes.
Oh, I thought there was just announced with no date.
No, 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 y'all hold me and I do wanna get, yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, something for the Wicked, I think it's called.
No, it's like no
I know it's Wicked. It has the word Wicked in it. No Rest for the Wicked, I think it's called. Let me see.
no rest for the wicked? No Rest for the Wicked, yes. Pretty sure that's coming out this year. Almost positive this is coming out this year.
No, release date to be announced. At least in Steam it says that. Unless it's coming to console first,
I
which I
just don't
doubt.
see them announcing something a whole year in advance. I'm really excited for it. Okay, I will say that.
Well, I do see it, and I'll tell you why. Because remember, the studio worked on both Ori, and they kind of had the back end of Microsoft, but now they're kind of like more like separate in their own way. So I think for them, it's smart to kind of like show show it a little bit in advance to kind of get people interested, and also to get developers to help them. You know, I don't know, just me saying that's what I think. But I think this might be like a 2025
It's 49 days, 14 hours, 15 minutes, 25 seconds.
for release date.
That's what it says.
Oh, then I'm completely wrong. Wow. Okay. Wait, Wicked Inside.
I don't know. Maybe we learn more about it. Maybe that's when
Yeah,
they'll tell us a date.
that's probably when they'll tell us a date. I don't expect it this year. I expect it next year, but who
No
knows?
rest for the week. No, evil. That's not what it is. So no, well, here's the thing. I think you're right. They have the backing of Microsoft as a publisher. But I think there's a point to where, like, same thing, like, here's another studio that Microsoft helped put their game on the map. But I think there's a point to where, like, you go from training wheels, which is like when you have a publisher, to like going out on your own, right? Like, that's the evolution.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so I
that's
think
true.
they had that experience. I s
Sorry.
you know, especially when they ported the game Ori, because Ori is actually on Nintendo Switch. It's actually one of the best Switch ports out there. And I think once they did that, it gave that team a lot of confidence that they could go out and create something on their own. They've kept basically the same Moon Studios before. So I'm really looking forward to that one. Um, I'm looking forward to the DLCs for Remnant 2, which is Gunfire Games. So shout out to Simpleton. I like Gunfire Games a lot. So and they actually still have some of the original creators from Darksiders. But again, they haven't even announced Darksiders 4, so I don't know. But I could definitely see the Remnant world coming in and being a Darksiders world kind of. So we'll see. Um, but so many. Oh, and Arc Raiders. That's another really game I'm looking forward to.
Oh wow, yeah. I
The
I was, something. I'm a little bit skeptical now because they changed the. I would say they would change the identity of the game. Like it's not the same. Like
No, you're right. It's
yeah,
not the same. But here's the reason why. So the finals is getting a lot of people are still into the finals. The
I
reason
tried
why
it. It's good actually. It's pretty good.
really? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not really a first person shooter. So but what I will say about Arc Raiders is it's third person. And what I also like about, or it was third person, but what I also kind of like about it, or I think it's third person, maybe it's not, maybe it's first person.
It's third person.
Third person,
Arc Riders, yeah, third person.
uh, not Outriders, or Arc Raiders is
Arc
right.
Raiders, yeah, Arc Raiders. Sorry,
Yeah,
that's what I meant.
because it's basically like a whatchamacallit of it's like Gambit, PvEVP
You know that game was actually the game that
on
pushed
Destiny
me
2.
to content create on video games.
What Destiny?
No, Arc Raiders.
Arc Raider, really?
Yeah, because
Huh?
like when I had the idea to like content create, video games with Lou and all that, like we had the idea, but we never like actually like decided to like start. So we just had the idea floating. When you first start, you're always like scared. You kind of want to have everything like perfect and all that, and you're always trying to learn and learn, but you never get started. And if you never get started, you're actually never gonna finish like
True.
getting your content how you really want it. And somehow I bumped into some Arc Raider like information and some stuff. This was in like this was in the Spanish channel, but I was like, wait a minute, I don't see anyone has this like published like anywhere. No one's just talking about this. I can get the first jump. And I decided to make a video about it, which it didn't really get a lot of views because of course, it was a new channel. I
Uh,
didn't create any
you
content or anything,
well,
but
it's gonna come out, and and Rudix is saying I just made it really unappealing by saying it's not a Gambit dedicated game. He said it's kind of like Gambit. You don't have to play it, Rudix. You don't have to play it. You don't have to play Remnant 2. You can go to sleep playing Ghost of Tsushima. You can chef's kiss all the games that I don't think are chef's kiss all you want. But I am excited about it. And a lot of other people who like Gambit are also excited about it. But no, I hear a lot of people are also kind of upset about the direction
yeah,
it went.
I published that video May 4th, 2021. And
Really.
I think the game got announced like when was it? Like
It was pretty recent. It was recent. Well,
yeah.
the people who I know who have played that alpha tests, because they're gonna be, I think, beta testing it pretty soon. Um, it's PvEVP. Yeah, that's how you say. Thank you, Cowboy. Uh, you know, I think the people who've played it say it's still good. They kind of like the direction of it. I don't know if that's gonna hold up. It's kind of hard to hit 2 home runs in a row with a live service game. So they already did it with I'm not gonna say it's a home run, but I the finals, a lot of people like it, that game. So we'll see how they do.
Yeah.
And Remnant 2, oh, what's your main gunslinger and what else, Severin? I do medic gunslinger. So medic's my main, gunslinger's my secondary. Um, so but and then I think some other people do gunslinger main and then medic. I usually have to play with Ambi and keep Ambi alive, so that's why I'm a medic. Ambi's gonna be upset I said that. Um, no, Rudix, I haven't. I haven't. I told you with Zelda, I have to be in the mood, and I just haven't been in that mood. Uh, this holiday season, I was moving, and I just didn't get the. I didn't. I haven't. I probably will get to it. I beat Ronan too. I'm a medic. Ah, nice eternal shot. We were supposed to play. So gunslinger challenger. Oh, that's
Eternal should I cheat? So
Eternal. Does he? No, he actually is always him. There's two people, Eternal Shaddai and oh y'all, what is it called? Y'all who's in Stadia, the one who he has a PhD. Oh, he knows the data. Estadia. Estadia and Eternal Shaddai are always like the most gamer points on Xbox every month for me. Like they are always like gaming a ton. Um, Stop me with AoE. Ambi, just gotta learn how to game, Ambi. Gotta be able to fight through the AoE. Oh my goodness. Well, Sourblow, I know you're busy. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. But you know what? Floor is yours. Talk to us anything about what we didn't get to hit on, or what you're doing. You know, floor is yours.
oh yeah, well, basically, I mean, we talked a little bit of everything. So yeah, it's an honor like to be in your show. I was wondering when I was gonna be invited because like Crazy Lou gets invited and
Oh
I didn't get invited. Like, what's going on there? No,
no.
but jokes aside, like I always respect your opinion. I like that you have like very different opinions that are like not like I don't like these opinions that are usually like sometimes they feel like it's the same opinion that everyone has. Like if everyone say like, "Oh, this is green," and then everyone just like I like to hear different ideas because like when you're just making the same content, the same ideas, it's like like I don't find it fun. I don't know, but I like that you bring other perspective and you just don't bring like other perspective like just to bring it like you don't say the sky is red just to say it's red just to like debate like you back it up, you bring your information whether I agree with it or not, that's something entirely different, but I can't just discard it. So I respect that from
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate that. And I just want to say, if y'all want to, your show's actually the one I reference when people are like, Purple, you got APK wrong. I'm like, if you actually listen to the show, I said, if they extend it and restructure the deal, it'll go through. I actually say that verbatim, and that's what happened. But so I use that show a
you.
lot.
Use that yeah.
I say that all. I said it on Cowboy Show. I said it everywhere. But no, I think thank you for asking me to be on it and to be on the show. I think I don't know. I appreciate just good people in the community. People who are not toxic. People who just like you see in chat and you see them on their show. You see them on other people's show. It's just like it's a
Yeah.
really great feeling.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
funny that you mentioned that show because some people come at me and they're like, "Oh, the debate and this and that," and I'm like, "No, no, wait a minute. The main reason for that was not like to like console war or anything like that. I just
It was like
wanted,
educational.
yeah,
I
it
think that's
was
what you
more
were
like
trying to do,
exactly, yeah,
educational and ecstasy. He's a great it was a great.
yeah,
I would want to bring him on here, but I think it's pretty late for for where he's at this time. So,
yeah.
but no, it was super great to be on your show on that and and like I said, you're just a great guy, and so I'm glad to have you on. Like I said, there's going to be more interviews. Like I used to do these. The first like 50 of these are all interviews, and then
You
I
sure
kind of
I'm a great guy? The guy that cuts people head
you
off and then
and
you're
pisses on them. Yeah, I mean, you're not a perverted one. You're not a perverted one, but you're still
I
you're still solid.
just marking territory. Yeah.
um, Thank you about that, cowboy. He's a whole different sour. Well, term shout out. We'll have to talk to you about it. He's trying to cover it. But no,
It's
thank you.
Stripper Plug podcast.
Um,
I think this is an old. Um, I just saw an old a message on the chat from Cowboy. He said that him and Crazy are gonna start a stripper podcast.
oh my goodness, I did not see that. Anyway, no, but in chat, very cool people out there, as well. Um, y'all always, all I consider all y'all, like kind of like friends. It's weird, and after I met Holtz and Cowboy, after never meeting them in person, but just like getting along with them that one time, it's just like I kind of realized like it is kind of a in a weird way, y'all are all kind of like I'm not gonna say friends, but there's a connection there. How about that? Connection. Do I have a Discord? I don't have it set up. I have it for if I need to play with someone on Xbox. Uh, and I just have that. I don't know why, but that's why I have it. So that's how Rouster and I usually play on Xbox is through Discord. Um,
She's joining the dark side. She's joining Xbox.
uh, you think so? I have an X? I have two. I have two
Yeah,
Xboxes.
you're full time now.
I don't know. I don't know about
She's like, I
that.
don't know about
I don't know about that.
that. We'll get you there. We'll get you there.
What I will say is, Xbox, it's cool. Like I said, if there's a game and I want to play it, it's easy to navigate their store for me. Actually, no, let me take it back. It's not easy to navigate the store, but it's like I said,
Yeah,
I
I
don't really.
I, I would say something I do like that they're also doing. I hope they do it with all their games and hopefully more third party do it. I do like their play anywhere
Uh,
like thing option because if I see the game has that, usually I buy it there because then I can play it on PC, I can play it on my ROG Ally, and then I can play it on my Xbox. So sometimes I feel like coming downstairs, playing downstairs. Sometimes I feel like playing upstairs. So got the ROG Ally, so it's just more convenient.
No, it is. I mean, I think things are going there. And yes, I did play this game actually. Siren, talking about real-time strategies and kind of puzzle games, Toy Soldiers, Sarge's Heroes on N64. You used to have I remember you had like what is it, like a C-17, and you could like deploy soldiers and they would drop down and you could control them. I do remember that game.
Is that the one with the green like
Yeah, the
soldiers?
little green
Oh,
dudes.
that was
Yeah,
another
yeah,
good
that was
game.
the N64 game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
remember
Yep.
that game. Because I like y'all know I like these types of strategy games, and you had different levels. Yeah, that was a cool game. They should bring something like that back. And you had to fight the tan soldiers. Man, I haven't thought about
Yeah.
that in like
I,
20 something years.
yeah. I think N64 was probably the I don't know. Those games were so fun. Like,
Yeah. But but with that, thank you, Sourblow. Where can people find you?
you can find me Twitter, Xbox Sourblow18, and you can find me Wednesday at Xbox International podcast. So XBI podcast in YouTube, and also sometimes I hang out with Shaddai in Xbox International en español, so in Spanish. He's together with Elvio. I think he was earlier in the chat here too. Also,
Yeah,
so
he's still
shout out
there.
to them.
I throw a shout out there, right there. And for everybody, I will be streaming this Sunday. Probably, I'm trying to get all the characters like killed in House of Ashes. I wasn't successful actually. They're all still alive, and I don't know how that happened. Um, but this Sunday, I'll actually announce who's going to be next week. So we're doing interviews. The next 2 weeks are
Nice.
definitely interviews and talking and just learning about just building community and building the community. So thank you all again. But for everybody else, I don't care where you game, how you game, why you game, what you game on, how long you've been gaming. As long as you're gaming, you're good with me. And as always, this is Purple Haze, and the proof is in the playing. All right, take care, y'all. Peace.